get to some more stories still related or bordering on the economy, and then we'll take some other issues happening in Parliament. The decision of the minority MPs to picket the central bank. The ultimatum has expired. The police says it will not be able to provide, police protection for the exercise. So obviously, that will be put on hold. But we understand the minority leader will be speaking today at an event which is scheduled for later in the day. Are you, considering other options of making the strong case, the case that you've always made, that the central bank governor ought to go?
Thank you so much. I think that let me also welcome my brother, Dr. Steve Amoa. He's a very good friend. Yeah. And sometimes when it comes to talking about politics and economy, he has his own style, but sometimes the style doesn't really reflect what is on the ground. You see, the way he started, sometimes I wonder whether he's really in touch with the people. When we talk about free education, and President John Dramani Mahama talked about progressively free education, starting to create access. Let's build this infrastructure first. If it is free and the children don't even have a classroom to sit, what will you do? You see, the Constitution provides free, basic, universal, free compulsory basic universal education, FQ, okay? Go now to my district in which as I'm talking, there are a lot of classrooms even without furniture, and that is the kind of governance system that we are operating, that we are destroying future generations. We talk about the fact that we will not pay allowances. Put the students on student loan. Go outside this country and see what people are doing. Go get a loan and run your education. When you are done, when you start work, they'll start with the dark. You don't need an allowance. You need a loan. And the loan will be enough for you to pay your school fees. And that's exactly, you see, when you talk about propaganda, we say they should review. They say, no, review means cancel. Today, they're talking about reviewing the free SHS policy. And every parent, my son is in school today. Yesterday, I had to send him money because they've canceled breakfast. They are not eating breakfast again. There is no food in the school. And that is the kind of system that we should be highlighting. In principle, no, in principle, free senior high school is something that will sustain and make it better. So let's join them, let us agree with them, review it and make it better for the future generation of this country. That is fine. You see, when you talk about us going to the Bank of Ghana, we were in this country when my brother Stephen Amoa's government came into power and talked about the fact that some banks could not stand on 2 feet. They were so weak and they had threatened to collapse the financial sector of the economy. They went for 25 billion Ghana cedis to come and clean up a requirement of 10 billion to let them stand on their feet. We were here watching them. And finally, God being so good, the mother of all banks, Bank of Ghana, came out to say, oh, we have a debt of about 60.8 billion. Okay, if somebody needed 10 billion to survive and couldn't survive and you have to clean it up, somebody is owing about 60.8 billion. He's net 60.8 billion. Okay? And we are telling us, what do we do to that bank? That is a demonstration, a show of incompetence. And as a very relevant opposition, we saying that, listen, we are not going to make any noise. We just want to go and pick it down and tell the Bank of Ghana governor, will you get out of office? Can you just be honest that you failed? Why will you even start printing money? Without looking at the ceiling required by law. 5% of previous year's income is what is your ceiling. How can you print more than that without parliamentary approval? Well, you say that, oh, it's supposed to be the Minister of Finance who have to go to but that law is a Ghana law, and you are a Ghanaian, a very responsible governor of the Bank of Ghana. Tell the Finance Minister, I'm not going to print above what the law says. But you printed enough. At the point, you did everything that you did. When you finished, you sat in your comfort and took a pen and wrote. You written off $48.4 billion. You've just written it off without any consultation. My brother, if you run this country like this, I'm sure in the next 5 years, we'll not have Ghana again. Just print for government. Let them spend it, somebody say, anyhow. And when you finish, sit in your office and write it off. What kind of life is that?
But the
police,
decision,
let me just finish.
Okay.
The police are saying that, listen, we don't want you to go through this route. We don't want you to go to do through. And we say, no, we want to make a desired impact. That is exactly where we want to go. And your duty as police is to provide them with security. Just come and provide us security.
Take a look at where you're going to. This is supposed to be the central bank. Security implications, a lot of them.
And that is
you understand that better, don't you?
I think that you know that I do that better.
Yeah.
That is why we have the Ghana Police Service. There are security implications, and the Ghana Police Service, if they decide to do it, you will go to Bank of Ghana and go and do your picket and do everything and go away, and nothing untoward will happen in terms of security. Nothing. So if you think that we shouldn't be able to go there, it's just a matter of Georgia. And normally, when we meet them, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about route they suggest here. We'll say, no, we want to do. At the end of the day, they will have a consensus. But if the police think that, no, we are not going to allow you to do this, you don't have the right to stop the demonstration. The only thing you can do is to go to court.
Can't you find another space? And I was asking, this question earlier. Maybe somewhat closer to the central bank and not necessarily the premises, because the fear is that some individuals could just take advantage of the situation and cause mayhem there.
You see, what the police does is to be very clear as what you want to do. Where do you want to start your demonstration? Where is the end position? What exactly will you be doing? What are the numbers that you are looking at? All these information are provided to the police to enable them plan. And if the police get all this information right and they plan well, you can actually go and sit in the governor's office. You can actually go and sit in the governor's office and you can do nothing regarding affecting the security of the Bank of Ghana. Unless you take the police by surprise. And if you take the police by surprise, they will deal with you by surprise. That is the point. If you take them by surprise, by probably hiding some information and try to spring a surprise on them, you are creating insecurity and they will deal with you. But very responsible opposition. We have been very open. The minority leader and the leadership of the House, they've been very open with the police. They discuss things transparently. And I think that the police are very comfortable providing security if they can. If there are some challenges that we can meet and judge on, we still have some few days to go. It's not a problem. But I believe that we have a right to enjoy demonstration as a constitutional provision.
In effect, what will you achieve, concretely speaking, if you have a central bank governor who necessarily wouldn't make policy, getting him out of office? What will be the effect of that? By the way?
You know the central bank is the one that manages our monetary policy. The monetary policy is controlled by central bank. And if the central bank governor can actually print money above the ceiling and sit in his comfort zone and write it off, yes, government has borrowed so much, and government says, I can't pay. So I've written off $48.4 billion, $1 billion Ghana cedis. If you go that reckless, capricious style in managing the affairs of the Bank of Ghana, I think that is not a responsible democracy we want to run. And as an opposition party, we shouldn't sit down and watch it. People elected me to represent Wawes, and the people of Wawes are watching me. Peter, did you hear what the governor of Bank of Ghana did? What are you people doing? We are not sleeping. We will let the whole world hear. This is the state of our Bank of Ghana. And this is the level of incompetence demonstrated by the governor of Bank of Ghana. And in fact, the whole economy is in shambles because the economic policy is not working, the fiscal policy is not working, and the two of them are not in tandem, and gradually somebody says we are turning the corner. When we are really not, we've not even seen any corner to turn. We are in a mess. Dr. Stephen Amoah, as he sits with me, let him start talking, and he will tell you, as a matter of fact, if he wants to be honest, he will tell you, listen, things are difficult, but maybe I will just start Russia,
Ukraine. He doesn't have to be the only one. The president says he's admitted there are difficulties, but there'll be a need for a leadership that will, going forward, also help to
that level of admission. That level of admission gladdens my heart.
Right.
And I mean, everybody should admit that. Listen, we are in a deep hole. We created a mess for ourselves. It's self-created, and we have created it. And because where are we going to go from here? Change of government is the only solution.
I see. Dr. Amoah?
Thank you very much. I think it is crystal clear, and it is a fact that there's hardship in Ghana. It is also a fact that there is a global hardship, and Ghana is an integral element of the globe. If you're honest, fine. If you're dishonest, God is watching you. You can say anything on this earth, but there's God. Me, I'm not an angel. But you can lie to the public, you can say anything, but we'll be judged by our statement. Because we think we want power or we want to stay in power and want Ghanaians to listen to us, we throw away Bible and Quran and lie and deceive people, and we think there's no God.
You're playing the moral card, isn't it?
You can say
the levels of hardship obviously differ. So you can't say that because there's hardship in Ghana, you're equating it to the level of hardship, say, in the US or elsewhere. That would not be a fair application.
Is that what I've said?
But you're saying there's hardship everywhere. That's the point you're making, actually.
But I never said hardship here in Ghana is the same as elsewhere or bigger or less.
You're saying we're an
so you are making your own
global
statement.
economy.
No, you're making your statement.
No, but I'm trying to say,
I'm just trying to establish the fact. Me based on your statement.
But I'm trying to establish the fact that the levels of hardship will differ from country to country.
So don't say I said that.
Yeah, but it will differ. It's a fact that
I'm not saying it will not.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah.
In some cases or some variables, Ghana better. In other cases, Ghana worse.
Precisely.
So what you're saying is true, but I hadn't said that.
Yeah. But I'm also establishing that fact.
That one I agree.
Yeah.
So don't attribute that to me.
But I'm establishing that fact.
I'm saying I don't attribute that because I hadn't said that.
I'm not attributing it to you. I'm establishing the fact that the levels of the.
I thought you are the moderator.
Yes, but I'm supposed to ask you questions.
But you are not asking me a question.
Yes, so I'm also putting up a fact that obviously the levels of the levels of hardship would differ. Precisely, I'm just putting that to you.
But don't attribute that to my statement.
I've not attributed that to you on the show. No, I'm asking the question that the levels of hardship.
I beg you, can I go?
I run the show. I am the host of the program, and you answer.
So when you finish, let me.
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
So which question are you asking?
So I'm telling you that the levels of hardship
you're telling me,
will
you're not
vary.
asking me.
But I can put that to you.
Okay, so I should answer that.
Precisely, if you want to.
It is a fact that hardships everywhere vary, and I have never said they don't. But it is a fact that Ghana depends on these global economies. Practically, that is a fact. And they are suffering, so we will suffer, probably even more. It is a fact that you can't say that everything is exclusively because of the global issue. Because Ghana, we have challenges spanning from about 40, 50 years ago up to now. It's a fact. Problems with unemployment, is it today? Problems with exchange rate, is it today? Problems with a whole lot of primary macro indicators. If it's only today, that's fine. But the point that I am making is that we all know that COVID made Ghana went through about 22 months of impaired productivity. If you don't understand something, you can speak as ignorant. It doesn't matter. But these are my fields. Any professor can come and lie, and God will deal with me and the person. Whether it's Moraka, that's me. I think there's a God that anywhere we find us, we should speak the truth. That's all. Please, Bank of Ghana issue. They have explained. They've come over. They speak as if it is exclusive with Bank of Ghana to have negative equity, which is not true. Situation from 2022, what happened? Australia had about 57 billion.
Right.
Their reserve of central bank, the same issue. UK had about 157 billion. That is the same issue. Then I think one country had about 132. So don't talk as if. And they actually paid their exposures from debt replacement that we all did, exchange, and then cocoa board, which was as a result of variation between world market price and Ghana, which was uncontrollable, and the fact that interest rates went high, which affected their loan portfolios. If you don't understand them, that is different. If you want to do propaganda, it is you. I agree. If NDC have found themselves in this situation, people have done the same. But do we keep on recycling these issues, or at a point as a country we need to sit down and say, no, we can't keep on always doing this blame game and recycling problems whilst Ghanaians are suffering. But once facts are there, you can go around, you can lie, but you can't lie to God. The point that I'm making, if it is false, say it is false. Prices of goods and services are very high. Yes. Why? Because we import almost everything, largely. Probably there could be exceptions, but largely or generally, we import things from countries that are also having high prices. Is that not true? Can anybody say that is not true? Are we talking about debt to GDP? The year 2000, we had over 150% debt to GDP. Go and check if that is not true. Is that what we are talking about? Equity does not mean insolvency. Just go and check. If you don't understand this, you can keep on lying to people. And I am saying that there seems to be improvement, even or restoration or recovery post-COVID up to now. That is a fact. They keep on saying something that in Parliament, I made a statement, they could not challenge, and they keep on lying to the people. There are fiscal policies and rules. They keep on condemning and complaining and criticizing state agencies or quasi-state agencies, a government position when it comes to not complying with this rule or this, that during these times where we have health disease. When you go to the PFM Act, which when it comes to the management of our finances, public finances, is the supreme legal instrument, apart from probably the Constitution. That I think Article 1-2 states the fact that when there's contradiction, apart from that, is the supreme document. If you go through that document, that is, I think, PFM Act 2016, Act 921, Section 18, it states 3 conditions under which fiscal rules and policies or consultations should even be suspended. What are fiscal rules and policies? Go and define them. 1, war. 2, disaster. War. 2, natural disaster. 3, health. Epidemic or pandemic. Such situation, the PFM Act gives. Why do we throw that away? We have wartime and peacetime. So are we talking about the fact that when the whole Ghanaian community were pushing pressure on the government to take quick decisions, but people were dying, and beyond that, the globe even judged us as one of the best countries that we could control fatalities and all those things. Now we finish, we are okay. So want to say, oh, you didn't talk to this person first, you didn't do this first. I'm not saying they don't have concern. If they have issues with materiality, that one
so you don't believe that the BoG governor should go?
Go where?
Leave office. That's the
they've done what? They are just doing. NDC just want political capital. That's all. They want just political capital. I'm not surprised. Probably MPP could have done the same. That is the cycle I want Ghanaians. Himself, yourself, myself, can keep on doing this. Ghana will keep on suffering. If you still want to put up these behaviors, no problem. The poor people will continue to be poor. And the situation will be worsened. NDC, they've come and gone. MPP have come and gone, have come again. Ask yourself, if like go and play all the tapes when late president, may he so rest in peace, former president Rawlings was there, through former president Kufuor, through former president His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and the present president His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa. Go and check all the criticism from the parties. They are the same. So we want to recycle this as a country, and I'm admonishing people like you and the media to sit back and redefine new paradigm shift.
Yeah, but why should it start from the NPP and not the NDC?
Can I end?
But I'm asking why it should start from the NDC and not the NPP and not the NDC.
I'm not talking about NDC or NPP here.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Ghana.
Yes, I know.
I'm surprised. But I haven't said it should start with anyone.
Yeah.
The point that I'm making is that NDC came, most of the criticisms that we raised, when NPP came, the same thing. Then NDC came again, the same thing.
Yes.
So I am saying that as a country, do we continue recycling these things? Is that what we want to do? If you think so, I don't have any problem.
Yeah, but if you did...
You understand what I'm saying? I am rather calling for a redefinition. Okay? We need to redefine our corporate focus as a country, as a people. We need to have a new paradigm shift that most of these recycling dysfunctional factors and statements and positions and actions and inactions, we put them somewhere and say, as a country, what can we do to build very resilient socioeconomic framework that at least we can mitigate some of these problems? But if we keep on doing what we are doing, fine, it's up to us. Then we should stop complaining. It's up to us. Okay. See, that's all that I want to say. I'm not saying it's MPP's time or NDC's time or anybody. If you want to wait till NDC can you do, I'm okay with it. I am calling for not within one particular regime or in one. But there should be a shift. But there should be a shift that all of us will address common issues of no importance, of critical, dysfunctional impact and adverse impact on us as a people, and change the way we do things. If not, let's keep on doing all this. Let's do because we want power.
I'm a change agent. I do a lot of training for leadership. Okay,
please. Then let that reflect in your life.
Let me guide you a bit. You see what he's saying. The status quo must change. I agree with him, Dr. Stephen Amoah. Let's not continue to crisscross with criticisms, and Ghana is suffering. But what I expected him to do, because he's in power now, go back to your own government and tell them, listen, what we are doing that is wrong. I, Dr. Stephen Amoah, even though my party is in power and I'm even a deputy minister, what is wrong, I will tell the government in the field, this is wrong. And when the criticism is inside out, change must be inside out. When it is inside out, there is no NDC person who will come and be playing any different card, because even government is bold enough to say this is bad. But here's the case, it's all about Russia, Ukraine. It's all about COVID. Let me tell you something. As I said, if I'm owing the bank where I save 100,000 Ghana cedis, and my mother in the village is owing her bank 1,000 Ghana cedis, you will think that my mother should not be complaining because even his son, Peter, is owing 100,000 cedis. Our economies, our capacities are very different. You see, when you were talking about the Bank of Ghana negative equity, his comparison was Australia. You see how far he has gone? The size of Australia's economy, the size of the US economy, the size of Ghana's economy. When we're talking about negative equity and the fact that your Bank of Ghana has lost...
I'm just trying to establish the point that it's a trend around the world.
That is what it's
not necessarily new.
Can I correct this?
Let me finish.
Let me finish.
Just one second.
If you land, I'll give you the time.
Let me finish. He will have his time.
Sorry.
That's okay. You see, when you are doing comparisons, don't compare things that are totally wayward and not closer. Can you do some little comparison within the sub-region? What is the impact of negative equity? You can give a lecture on that. I don't have a problem. But if you think that Ghana with a 55.1% negative equity, it should not be talked about because somebody had a 70% negative equity and they are still surviving. What is their economic base? On what is the economy anchored? To the point that even their negative equity can be done away with a very short possible time. And that's what I was telling you. If my mother is owing 1,000 Ghana cedis, it's no money to me. If I'm owing 100,000 Ghana cedis, it is no money to somebody. But don't do the comparison between my mother and myself. In the village, they are watching. My constituency people appeal by telling Stephen Amor. Somebody suggested. So tell Stephen Amor that Bank of Ghana lost 60.8 billion. And in the village, that is all we understand.
The concern about the NDC making political capital out of this, you are obviously doing this to win more and more following, simply because there's obviously some political capital here.
My brother, when we talk about responsible opposition, you hold government feet to fire, okay? And let the people understand that you didn't vote for me to come and be sleeping. If government is messing up, I'll rise to the occasion and say, this is wrong. Okay, the Bank of Ghana has run at a loss of 60.8 billion. Because when we talk about it, it will be positive political capital to the NDC. Let's be quiet. No opposition will do that. And that's why he said, you see, if they were in opposition, I'm telling you and I sitting here, we will not be able to have 1 hour to sleep in this country. The amount of noise that they will make, NDC is a very gentle opposition. Or else, I'm not sure that this issue about going, they are supposed to come and join us. Bro, please join the demonstration.
Okay. That's a great invite to Dr. Amor. Maybe he will join you when you stay on stage.
He understands the economy better, and his perception is not very wrong. But the truth is that when you bring the MPP politics, he will try to play the moral card, talking about God. Listen, God is in heaven, and God controls our lives. But we have brains to run this country. You see, one thing that is happening to us as a black continent is the fact that we think that the earth is a transition zone. Everybody wants to go to heaven. What are you doing here? That is the reason why we are making the world a very bad place for future generations. Let's put our best card on the floor. Let's put our best brains in charge. And let's do the things, the job well, so that tomorrow future generations will come and see what we have left behind.
Okay. Dr.
Boss, this point, I want to make it clear. Yeah. One, on this same platform, I've come here to criticize my government before. Sometimes, you see, we live in a country that if integrity is not an issue, and now a lot of people who have good intentions are becoming demotivated to the point that they want to give up on integrity. I'm being honest. We only concentrate on only the bad things and negative things we see. So people are not even encouraged to put themselves in a category that will help us. I've been on this platform, and even sometimes I get issues from our own people. I get even attacks. I won't lie to you, and people know me. So if we are talking, it's not all the time that one things are not right because you want people to see you criticize your government. We do. Two, I have never compared Ghana to UK or US. I don't even believe in one-on-one comparison.
Okay.
Because we have different issues, specific issues. I do things based on certain relationship or relational variables. I am saying that these are giant economies, better economies, well-structured economies. They even have same trend of challenges that we will be even worse because we depend on them. So people shouldn't behave as if it's an exclusive thing with Bank of Ghana. I'm not saying I'm comparing the two, they are the same. Get that clearly. Two, I think my brother should understand the difference between sound and noise. Because in physics, noise is a destructive interference of waves. You should understand. And sound is constructive interference of waves.
So you see,
and the results are different. They rather produce destructive interference, in parliament anywhere. So you shouldn't compare the two. The point that I am making today, and you have to understand, is that there is hardship. Unless there's anybody who is dishonest. Two, what are the bases? We all know from end of 2019 through 2020 up to even now, the whole world has been in turmoil. Generally, I would say generally or largely, it means greater part of the reason is as a result of what happened to the global supply chain because of the war, because of the disease, which is a fact. We are suffering most because we, in most of the African countries, depend on them. This is something any Tom, Dick, and Harry. And when I bring in God, I'm not saying I'm an angel. Morality is very important. Bringing in God, I'm saying that if I know I'm lying, If I know I can make mistake, it doesn't mean my statements are right. But if I know I'm lying, God will deal with me because I'm deceiving people into making arbitrary decisions. That one is my personal premise, platform. But the point I want to make is that at all times, the NDC, sometimes they do better than MPP, sometimes MPP, we do better than them. But if you're talking about aggregate performance, any honest, God-fearing person, unless he's suffering from ignorance, unconscious incompetence, display of ego trips, or he wants to do intellectual dishonesty. MPP at all times in government, we are better than them.
You are in government now. You are
far better.
far better. You are in government now.
You can compare the two.
You are in government.